Is it true that buying an engagement ring from the world-famous jewelry brand does not make much sense? Are the markups from Tiffany, Cartier, Van Cleef, or are the luxury houses are really as dramatic as people say? I think many buyers look at this question from only one angle. They see a luxury ring and immediately reduce it to the materials. How much the diamonds cost, how much the platinum, how much should the setting cost. And if you judge the ring only that way, maybe designer engagement ring become difficult to justify. But luxury jewelry was never priced only as the metal, stones, and the labor. Large jewelry houses sell something wider than the physical object. They sell history, recognition, status, trust, boutique experience, packaging, and the name people understand before you explain anything. When people buy a Tiffany engagement ring, they are not just buying a diamond ring, they buying Tiffany. When someone buys Cartier, they are not just buying a setting with a stone, they buying a Cartier. That matter. Not to everyone, but to enough people that these brands become part of the jewelry culture, not just stores. A famous jewelry object is not priced like a normal object. Take one of the most recognizable engagement ring designs in the world, the Tiffany Setting. Even people who do not follow jewelry often understand what Tiffany engagement ring mean. That is not an accident. Tiffany turned a simple solitaire into status symbol. That ring is not bought only because the diamond. It's bought because people immediately reads it's Tiffany. That is the point. The Tiffany Setting is not just a 6-pronged solitaire, it's one of the most famous engagement rings ideas in the world. A simple diamond ring from the Tiffany is not just trying to impress you with unusual design. Its power is the opposite. It says, this is classic, this is the name, this is the box, this is the version everyone understands. For some buyer, that is exactly what they want. For my guys watching, a Rolex is probably the easiest example. You can buy a steel Rolex with no complications for about $10,000. You can buy almost the same Tudor for about half of the price. And there is a plenty of Tissot's watches and other good brands for less than $1,000, but many people still want Rolex because it's Rolex. Luxury jewelry works in a very similar way. That is why I do not like the lazy argument that luxury jewelry is just a scam. It's not that simple. A famous luxury ring can be strong emotional purchase, but it becomes a problem when the buyer thinks the full premium is inside of the diamond, because most of the time it's not. A Cartier Solitaire problem. Now let's look at the different kind of luxury engagement ring. A classic Cartier Solitaire. Round diamond, platinum setting, clear design, beautiful presentation, a very easy to understand. This is where comparison become interesting because the ring itself is not complicated. It's not heavy vintage design, it's not covered with engravings, it's not a difficult one-of-the-kind construction. It's the diamond, a setting, and the famous name. If you go into that purchase honestly, it can make sense. You know you are buying the ring, the Cartier experience, the certification, the packaging, service, and the name, of course. But if you're looking at it purely as the diamond purchase, the logic changes quickly. A diamond still has measurable qualities: carat weight, color, clarity, cut, proportions, fluorescence, lab documentation, actual visual performances. Cartier can stand behind the stone, Cartier can create trust, Cartier can give you a very polished buying experience. But Cartier does not make a 1-carat diamond look like a 1.5 diamond. It does not make the proportions better than they are. It does not make the ring more personal. This is where buyers need to separate two values: brand value and the ring value. Brand value is real, but it's not the same as the diamond value. With the Cartier Solitaire, a meaningful part of the price belonged to the house itself. The name, the boutique, the heritage, the instant recognition. With the custom independent ring, more of the budget can often direct it into the physical choice. A larger center stone, a stronger cut priority, more specific diamond selection, a rare colored gemstone, a more detailed setting. So the question is not, can Cartier make a beautiful ring? Of course they can. The real question is, what do you want to be the part of the center of the ring story? The name of the house or the person you are making it for? Do you want the ring to be meaningful because everyone recognizes the brand, or do you want it to be meaningful because the stone, the design, the proportions, and the details were chosen for that one person? Those are not the same purchases. Do luxury brands use special diamonds? There's another belief that creates a lot of confusion. Some buyers assume famous jewelry houses use completely different level of diamonds, as if the rest of the industry work with normal stones and the big names have access to something almost untouchable. I would not think about it that way. Good jewelry brands have standards. They reject the stones, they care about consistency, presentation, and quality control. That is the part of what you are paying for. But the diamond does not become a different diamond because it enters famous boutique. It still has report, it still has proportion, it still has cut, color, clarity, fluorescence, measurement, and actual visual performance. The logo can create trust around the stone. It does not replace the stone itself. That's why if the goal is the best ring for the money, I would never only buy a brand name. I would want to see the diamond itself, not just the box, not just the lighting, not just the story around it, the diamond itself. Because when the ring is on the hand, the stone has to perform on its own. The boutique is not coming with it. A quick pause. If you're shopping for the engagement ring, check our playlist in the description below. It walks you through the key parts of the process step by step so you can make a better decision with more confidence. I hope it helps, and I would love to work together. Where custom enters the conversation. Now custom starts to make sense. Not as the cheaper version of the luxury, that is the wrong way looking at it. It's the different philosophy. Luxury starts with the house. The collection already exists, the design language already exists, the ring is already waiting in the boutique. Custom starts somewhere else. It starts with the person who will wear it, their taste, their lifestyle, the kind of a beauty they respond to. One person wants the ring that looks expensive but does not announce itself across the room. Another loves vintage references but does not want a reproduction of an old ring. Some wears jewelry every day and cares more about the comfort that most people realize. Someone hates the height setting, someone wants a rare stone they would almost never see in the normal jewelry retail, and the ring is built around that. That is the real difference. Luxury is finished world, a custom built around the specific person. And an engagement ring that's matter more than almost any other jewelry category, because this is not just a piece for a special occasion. It has to live on a hand every day. It has to match the person, not just the collection itself. That is where custom becomes interesting, not because it's trying to be the opposite of Tiffany or Cartier, but because it can solve different problems. A luxury brand protects the design language. A custom ring should protect the person wearing it, when the stone becomes the center of the project. One of the strongest differences in custom jewelry is that the ring can be built around the stone that would never feed into the mass luxury retail. With the big brands, the stone usually has to feed the brand system. That system can be beautiful, but it's still a system. With the custom, the ring can start with one very specific stone, not just a sapphire. For example, a sapphire that matched the color of her eyes, a soft blue-gray sapphire because she never wears the bright colors, a teal sapphire because she loves the ocean color, a party sapphire because the mix of blue, green, and yellow feels more alive than one perfect flat color, a Montana because it feels quieter and more natural, or an antique cut diamond because she loves old jewelry but does not want the ring that looks like a copy. And then the design grows from that stone. The stone is no longer just a place in the style. The style is built around the stone itself. That matters because interest in stones are not interchangeable. You might find another sapphire later, but not the same tone, not the same color zoning, not the same shape, not the same feeling. So when the ring is built around that specific stone, the piece become much harder to repeat. That is one of the real strengths of the custom, not just sentimental representation. A ring where actual object carries the story. Custom is not always more convenient. Now this is the part custom jewelers do not say often enough. Custom is not always easier, it's not always more convenient, and it's not for every buyer out there. Luxury retails works beautifully because it's simple. You enter the boutique, you try the ring, you see the final object, you know exactly what you're buying, you pay, you leave. Custom is different. It takes more trust. You may need to compare stones, look at the cats, discuss height, width, prongs, side stones, engravings, metal colors, wedding band feet, and durability. You might need to wait several weeks. For some people, that process is the best part. For other people, it's too much. They don't want to think about elements of the ring. They do not want to compare the stone. They don't want to approve cat. They want beautiful ring quickly from the trusted name. This is completely legitimate. So I would not say luxury and custom should always compete with each other. They satisfy different emotional needs. Luxury gives you a finished symbol, custom gives you a created object. One is not automatically smarter than the other, but they are very different. Another reason people feel safe with the luxury brands is service. And this is the real advantage. There is a boutique, there is documentation, there is a global company, there is a system. If the ring needs cleaning, resizing, polishing, repair, or inspection, the buyers know where to go. That matters especially with the engagement ring. It's worn every day, it gets scratched, it gets heat, prongs need to be checked, white gold may need rhodium. A major luxury houses give the buyer infrastructure, but a reputable custom studio can give you different types of security, a more direct one. With us, we know our stones, we know our settings, we know why the ring was built in a certain way. It's not a 5 separate department when one person sells the stones, another person designs the ring, and someone else repairs something they don't really know. One jeweler works on one ring and understands it inside and out. I'll give you a real example. We recently finished a beautiful royal blue sapphire engagement ring for our client. The ring was done, the sapphire was beautiful, the design worked, but when they received it, they realized they want more. More color, more presence, more stone. This is extreme case, but still, it does not happen often, but because the stone was still within the return window, we were able to take the ring back, change the setting, replace the center stone, etc. This is different kind of service. Not just polishing the ring after the sale, but staying with the client when the first version does not fully match what they feel after seeing it in real life. Luxury gives you the strengths of the larger system. Custom, at least with how we work, gives you the direct relationship with the people who actually build the ring. Is the jewelry an investment? And now we need to remove one common illusion. Most jewelry is not an investment. Luxury or custom, most of the time if you buy a ring at retail and try to resell it later, you should not expect to get a full money back. This is where people often fool themselves. They think it's Tiffany, it's Cartier, it must hold value. And yes, famous brand can be easier to resell, that is true. There is more recognition, more trust, and clear secondary market. A piece from a major house can be more liquid than a known ring, but the liquidity is not the same as profit. A famous ring can sell because of the name. A strong custom ring can sell because of the rarity of the stone or the design. A generic pre-made ring often has neither, so resale usually comes much harder. If the retail price included a large brand premium, the resale price may still be painful. The name might help you to sell it, it does not erase the markup you pay at the beginning. With the custom jewelry, resale usually shifts back to the material and quality, the center stone, the metal, the craftsmanship, the desirability of the design itself. If a large part of the budget went into the rare, a high quality stone, that may be more meaningful long term than a very expensive brand premium. But I would still be careful. I would not sell the engagement ring as an investment. Buy the ring because it's beautiful, meaningful, and loved. If the stone also holds the value, well, it's wonderful. But jewelry is first an emotional purchase, not a guaranteed financial strategy. So what is the real decision? The real decision is not luxury good, custom bad. It's not custom good and luxury stupid. That is too simple. The real decision is what kind of value you want to buy. If the famous name is part of the emotion, buy the famous name. If your partner always wanted the Tiffany blue box, do not pretend the box doesn't matter. It matters because it mattered to them. If the boutique experience, brand history, and instant recognition are part of the proposal, that can be valid reason. But if the name is not the emotional center, I would be careful before paying a large premium for it. Because at that point, the money may do more for you inside of the ring itself. This is where I personally find custom jewelry much more interesting. That's why I'm doing it. Not because luxury has no value. Luxury absolutely has value. But once you remove the need for the logo, a different world opens. Now your partner's personality can lead. Their lifestyle can lead, the stone can lead, the design can follow all of that. So before buying a designer's engagement ring, I would ask one direct question. If nobody knew where this ring came from, would it still feel like the best ring for the money? If yes, buy it with confidence. If no, maybe what you love is the brand more than the ring itself. And that's fine. Just be honest with it. One put the famous name at the center, the other can put the story at the center. Both can be beautiful, but only one may be right for the way you want to spend your money.